You don't wake up one morning as a low-value man. It doesn't happen in a single moment. It's a slow leak that drains your potential drop by drop. A missed workout here, a broken promise there. One small, it's not a big deal that snowballs into a life you no longer recognize. That's how men lose themselves, not through disaster, but through quiet decay. And here's the dangerous part. You won't notice it happening. You'll still think you're doing fine, still tell yourself you've got time. But every time you choose comfort over discipline, distraction over focus, or validation over purpose, you lose another piece of your edge. Until one day, you look in the mirror and realize the man staring back isn't you anymore. This video is your wake-up call. Because I'm about to walk you through 8 signs you're becoming a low-value man. Signs that most men either ignore or deny until life forces them to face the consequences. You'll see how these habits quietly destroy your ambition, your respect, and your ability to lead yourself. And by the time we reach the final sign, you'll understand the one truth that separates men who rise from those who rot in mediocrity. So listen closely. Every part of what's coming next has the power to either wake you up or expose you. Because the line between a man who's slipping and a man who's rising isn't talent or luck. It's awareness. Stay with me till the end, and you'll see exactly where you stand and how to take your power back before it's too late. Sign 1, you lack self-control. Every collapse starts here. You say you want success, but you keep feeding the very habits that sabotage it. You talk about focus, but waste hours scrolling, chasing, or numbing yourself with cheap pleasure. You tell yourself you're taking a break, but deep down, you know it's avoidance. Every time you say just one more, you teach your brain that weakness wins. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior, Confucius said, and that truth never fades. The man who can't control his urges can't control his destiny. You can't build an empire if your emotions are running the kingdom. Think about it. How many opportunities have you killed by choosing comfort over commitment? You don't lose discipline all at once. You trade it away in pieces. One skipped morning routine, one ignored goal. One, I'll do it later. And then you wake up realizing you're not in charge anymore. Your habits are. The difference between a man who leads and a man who drifts is simple. One says no to temptation, the other explains why he didn't. The moment you stop steering your impulses, you start being steered by them. Now here's the real danger. Once a man loses control, he starts losing accountability. Instead of fixing himself, he starts defending his failures, which leads to the next trap most men never escape. Sign 2, you complain too much and avoid responsibility. This is the silent thief of masculinity. The more a man complains, the more powerless he becomes. You can tell how far a man has fallen by how often he blames others. He'll blame the system, his boss, his parents, his luck, everyone but the person staring back at him in the mirror. And the worst part? He convinces himself he's just being honest about how unfair life is. But honesty without ownership is weakness dressed up as wisdom. Every time you complain, you're reminding yourself that life owns you. A strong man never wastes breath explaining why something can't be done. He just finds a way. When life hits hard, he doesn't whine, he adapts. When things go wrong, he doesn't ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What now?" Because the moment you take responsibility, you gain control again. You can't change what you refuse to own. And the weak man's greatest mistake is thinking blame will ease the burden. It never does. It multiplies it. Look around. The loudest complainers are rarely the ones improving. They trade progress for pity, discipline for drama. They talk about unfairness like it's a curse instead of a test. But the truth is simple. As long as you see yourself as a victim, you'll live like one. Every strong man you admire, whether it's a soldier, an athlete, a leader, was built in moments of ownership. They didn't grow by wishing the world was easier. They grew by deciding they'd be stronger. That's the mindset that turns struggle into fuel. Because when you stop blaming, something powerful happens. You realize the only person standing between you and your potential is you. But here's the twist. Once men lose control and start complaining, they don't look inward to fix it. They double down on pride. They convince themselves they already know enough, that they don't need correction, that advice is an insult. That's when decline turns to delusion. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. The mindset that keeps low-value men trapped in circles of ego and ignorance. Once a man loses accountability, he stops growing. The moment you think you've got it all figured out, life will prove you wrong. And it always does. Ego is a strange thing. It whispers that you're right, even when you're stuck, that your experience makes you wise even when it's just repetition. Low-value men live inside that illusion. They mistake stubbornness for strength and loud opinions for leadership. Sign 3. You think you know everything. This is the quiet disease that kills progress. The man who refuses to listen can never evolve. He argues to win, not to understand. He defends his mistakes instead of learning from them. You can recognize him instantly. He interrupts everyone, resists feedback, and treats correction like an insult. What he doesn't realize is that arrogance doesn't protect his confidence. It exposes his insecurity. As the old saying goes, the fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. A high-value man stays curious. He questions his own assumptions, studies those ahead of him, and understands that humility is power. The difference between the wise and the weak is that the wise keep learning even after they're praised, while the weak stop learning the moment they're complimented. Confidence built on ignorance is just pride waiting to be broken. The truth? You can't lead anyone if you can't be led by wisdom. So ask yourself, when someone challenges your mindset, do you listen or do you defend? Do you seek clarity or do you shut down? The men who can't be taught eventually get trapped by the limits of what they already know. And when growth stops, the mind starts rotting. Which brings us to the next rot, the habit of tearing others down to hide the cracks in yourself. Sign 4. You constantly criticize others. Weak men talk about people. Strong men talk about ideas. Disciplined men talk about goals. The low-value man, though, feeds on comparison. He needs someone to look down on to feel up. He mocks, he gossips, he nitpicks, because it's easier to point out another man's flaws than to confront his own. But when you're focused on progress, judgment feels like a waste of time. Think about the men who've achieved real greatness. They rarely criticize. They study, they observe, they extract lessons instead of passing judgment. Criticism is often just insecurity wearing confidence as a mask. Every time you judge another man, what you're really doing is measuring your worth through his reflection. That's why gossip feels good. It distracts you from the mirror. If you ever catch yourself doing this, pause and ask, what part of me feels lacking right now? Because you only attack what reminds you of your own weakness. A man secure in his mission doesn't waste time proving superiority. He's too busy building it. When you stop judging and start observing, something shifts. You begin seeing patterns, not people. Lessons, not enemies. That's how a high-value man grows, by learning quietly and executing relentlessly. But here's where it gets dangerous. Once a man's ego takes over and his criticism becomes his comfort zone, he starts seeking easier environments, places where no one challenges him, where mediocrity feels safe. That's when his surroundings begin to mirror his stagnation. And that's the next trap, the one that quietly shapes your destiny without you even realizing it. The company you keep decides whether you'll rise or rot. A man's environment is like soil. No matter how good the seed, it won't grow in toxic ground. You can have potential, ambition, and vision, but if you're surrounded by the wrong people, you'll never evolve beyond them. Sign 5. You surround yourself with fools. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your future. You can't outgrow a group that refuses to move. Low-value men stick with the same people who think small, act lazy, and make excuses. They mistake loyalty for progress and familiarity for friendship. They say things like, "At least we're all in this together," not realizing that this is stagnation. If everyone around you avoids accountability, mocks ambition, and praises comfort, you've already lost half the battle. The high-value man, on the other hand, builds a circle that forces him upward. He chooses men who are sharper, wiser, and stronger than him, men who call him out, not comfort him. Because iron doesn't sharpen iron through agreement, it sharpens through friction. The people closest to you are either sharpening your edge or dulling your purpose. Think about it. If your friends waste time, you'll waste it too. If they gossip, you'll join in. If they lack goals, you'll forget yours. Energy is contagious, and mediocrity spreads faster than discipline. That's why most men never grow. They're addicted to people who validate their weakness. It feels good to be the smartest in the room, but if you always are, you're in the wrong room. Now, here's the truth most men ignore. Your circle doesn't just reflect your standards, it reinforces them. You can't be disciplined if everyone around you worships distraction. You can't be ambitious if your peers celebrate comfort. So look closely. Are your friends building, or are they bleeding you dry? Are they challenging you, or laughing at your effort to improve? Because sooner or later, their habits become yours. And when you live in that kind of comfort zone long enough, you start craving pleasure just to feel alive again. Which leads to the next sign, the trap that turns wasted time into wasted years. Sign 6. You chase pleasure over discipline. This one doesn't destroy you overnight, it drains you in silence. You tell yourself you're enjoying life, but deep down, you're escaping it. Every scroll, every drink, every meaningless distraction is a quiet surrender. You're not living, you're numbing. And the worst part? It feels harmless. Pleasure whispers that you deserve a break, that you've worked hard enough, that you'll start tomorrow. But the truth is, pleasure without purpose is just sedation. Every man has two pains to choose from, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline is sharp but brief. Regret is dull but permanent. Low-value men pick the easy one. They trade long-term peace for short-term highs. They talk about ambition but keep feeding their comfort. They say they want success but chase the dopamine that keeps them average. High-value men understand the trap. They don't seek peace through pleasure. They earn it through structure. They don't run from pressure, they chase it, because every challenge faced voluntarily builds strength. Every discomfort faced willingly sharpens resilience. If you avoid the hard things, you also avoid the man you could become. Think about that. Every time you choose comfort, you're rejecting the version of yourself who's capable of more. So the question is, which pain are you choosing? Discipline now or regret later? But here's what makes this even more dangerous. The more you feed pleasure and comfort, the more you lose hunger and drive. And that's when something inside you begins to die, not your body, but your purpose. And that's what we're about to uncover next, the hidden killer of every man's potential and how to reclaim the fire before it's gone for good. Every man's downfall begins when he stops chasing growth and starts chasing comfort. The more stable life feels, the more dangerous it becomes, because comfort is seductive. It convinces you that peace and progress are the same thing when they're not. Peace is earned, comfort is bought with potential. Sign 7. You're addicted to comfort. Most men lose their edge not when life is hard, but when it's easy. They get a steady job, a bit of validation, maybe a woman who likes them, and then they stop pushing. They tell themselves they've made it, when in truth, they've just stopped moving. Comfort is the silent assassin of ambition. It doesn't shout. It whispers, "You're doing fine." And those words destroy more men than failure ever could. When you live too long in comfort, discomfort starts feeling like danger. You avoid anything that challenges you. You stay in the same routines, surrounded by the same people, doing the same things, slowly dying behind a mask of satisfaction. The high-value man knows this. He doesn't seek comfort, he seeks capacity. He understands that pain isn't punishment, it's the process of transformation. Every time you endure pressure, you expand your limit. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you did something that truly scared you? When was the last time you risked failure? If you can't remember, that's your answer. The man who avoids discomfort today will live with regret tomorrow. You can't grow stronger in the same environment that made you soft. And behind this addiction to comfort lies the deepest problem of all, the final sign most men never identify until it's too late. Sign 8. You lack purpose and direction. This is the root of all decay. When a man has no mission, he fills the void with distraction, women, entertainment, or noise. He wakes up tired, not because he's overworked, but because he has nothing driving him forward. A man without a purpose is a loaded gun without a target. Dangerous to himself, harmless to the world. You see it everywhere. Men scrolling through life, numbing their spirit with pleasure, avoiding the stillness that might force them to ask, "What am I really here for?" Without direction, every path looks the same, and every detour feels justified. As Seneca said, when a man does not know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. Purpose gives meaning to struggle. Without it, even comfort becomes torture. But here's the good news. You can turn this around. Every man can. It starts with awareness. You can't fix what you don't face. If any of these signs hit you hard, good. It means something inside you is still awake. Becoming a high-value man isn't about perfection, it's about alignment, cutting away what weakens you, rebuilding what strengthens you, and chasing the kind of growth that makes you impossible to replace. Here's how to reclaim your value. Start with discipline. Build a routine that keeps your mind sharp and your words solid. Respect your time like it's currency, because it is. Protect your focus from the small things that drain it. And above all, rebuild your integrity. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Every time you do, you take back a piece of your power. Remember this, your value isn't defined by women, wealth, or attention. It's defined by control. Control over your mind, your actions, and your direction. Every no you say to weakness builds the foundation of your strength. Every moment you choose growth over comfort, you rise a little higher. So stop waiting, stop blaming, stop negotiating with your potential. You've got one life. Make sure when it's over you can look back and say, I didn't waste it being average. And before you go, don't just move on to the next video. Re-watch this one a week from now. Watch it when you're slipping, when you feel lazy, when your fire fades. Use it as a mirror. Every time you do, you'll see something new about yourself, something that either needs to change or something that's already growing stronger. And if this hit you hard, subscribe to the channel, not for motivation, but for clarity, for accountability, for the reminders most men never get. Because here, we don't sugarcoat. We break down the psychology, the discipline, and the mindset that separate men who drift from men who dominate. So hit that button, stay sharp, and keep coming back stronger. Because your growth doesn't stop when this video ends, it starts here.